This is Between the Brackets, a MediaWiki podcast, episode 46, October 29th, 2019. Welcome to Between the Brackets. I'm Yaron Koren. My guest for this episode is Clément Flipo, who is the co-founder of the MediaWiki consulting/hosting company Dokit and the site Wikifab, along with his business partner Pierre Boutet. I invited both Clément and Pierre onto the program. Pierre decided not to participate, which is fine. My understanding is that Clément is more often the public face of the company, while Pierre tends to be the behind-the-scenes guy. I've been talking to both Pierre and Clément online since 2017 or so, although I only met them in person this year. I met Clément earlier, and then I finally saw both of them about a month ago at the Semantic MediaWiki conference in Paris, which Clément was also the social chair for. Anyway, Clément, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Yaron.
So where are you located?
In Paris.
Cool. What is your background? I mean, what were you doing before you got into wikis?
I was working for a mobile recycling company. We were basically providing some software solutions for telcos to buy back used mobile phone from their customer, to refurbish them and then to sell them as second-hand phones.
Oh, pretty neat. You were doing tech stuff there, programming?
Yeah. I was in charge of the product. So I was the product director of the company. It was a startup. We started we were 5 people. And when I left the company 7 years after, we were like 60 person.
Oh, wow.
So it was quite successful.
Yeah. Does it still exist?
Yeah, it still exists, and they have been recently quoted as the next 40 companies in France. So it's 40 companies that the government has identified, and they want to promote and to push forward among the economy.
Wow, cool. What's the name of the company, if anyone's curious?
It's called Recommerce.
Yeah. And do you own stock in them or something?
Well, I used to.
Oh, okay.
I was since I was from I was not one of the founder, but I was the first employee. So just to keep me motivated, they gave me some shares when we were 5. But then the company grew up, and we had some investors who came in a second run and a third run. So it became really they had a proper startup story.
Yeah, that's a sad story.
That's not a MediaWiki story.
No, yeah, that's true. We don't have to worry about stocks and stuff. Well, maybe some people do. I don't know. What did you study in school? Was it soft programming?
Not really. It was a business school, but with an IT component. So in every class we had, we were talking about IT.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
But it was more like the functional part or the architectural part of IT. So it was like how IT is influencing people in a company. So I was always involved in IT since my study, and I was also a bit of a programmer when I was young. I always enjoy developing front end, and it still happens today. So I love developing some interface, front end interface using some frameworks now that we have. But I'm really versatile in HTML, CSS.
Yeah, sure. Did all that stuff exist when you were young? I don't even know.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Okay. I remember when I was I think at 13, when I was a Boy Scout, I developed the website of my Boy Scout troop.
Oh, cool. Did you get a badge for that or something?
Probably, I don't remember. It was my first website ever.
Yeah. Pierre Boutet is your partner. How did you guys meet each other?
We met at Recommerce.
Oh, okay.
Pierre was in charge of the IT of Recommerce. So he was also one of the first employees. Also not a founder, but the first programmer working with the Recommerce CTO. And Pierre was in charge of all of the architecture of Recommerce, and I was in charge of the product. So we were working together every day since 7 years. So we knew each other very well when we started Dokit and Wikifab.
Yeah. So was Wikifab the first MediaWiki related thing you guys did?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah. After 7 years of Recommerce, we were looking for something that makes sense, that in a ecological way, social way, and all. And we thought about this idea of Wikifab, which is maybe I can introduce Wikifab.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
So Wikifab is a let's say it's a Wikipedia for people who share DIYs, so do-it-yourself stuff. Yeah. So we have contributors who create something physical, like it could be a decoration stuff, like a light, a table, or a chair that he do it by himself, and he will. But it could also be an electrical system, like an Arduino or a Raspberry or whatever. Everything physical, yeah. And he will create a tutorial, step-by-step tutorial, and he will post it on Wikifab.
Yeah.
And so we thought when we had this idea, basically we saw the Fab Lab movement and Makerspace movement that was really growing at the time, and it's still growing today. Yeah. And we thought that all of them were doing amazing stuff, like really crazy things, and they were also very into the free knowledge movement. So we thought that the wiki, and also they didn't add any platform, like global platform, to share what they were doing. So all of them were doing their stuff on their side, on their website. So it was good stuff, but no one knew about it. So we thought that this community needed a wiki for that.
Yeah, and just briefly, Fab stands for fabricate or fabricate or whatever it is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, fabricate.
Yeah. So there's already a well-known MediaWiki-based tutorial site called WikiHow. They're a general how-to site as opposed to just being for do-it-yourself DIY projects. But I assume they have DIY stuff in there among all the rest. Did you think about that when you were creating Wikifab?
Yeah, well, we thought about it. We had a look into it, and we saw that it was not exactly what we wanted to do. First, because it was a big mix of every how-to. Right. So you can learn how to kiss your girlfriend, I think, or stuff like that.
Right.
So we thought that those subjects wouldn't, fit with our users, We thought people in the Fab Lab wouldn't understand to post a tutorial about Raspberry next to a tutorial about food or whatever. Yeah. So we thought it was not for our community. And also, this is a for-profit website. So we didn't want to we wanted to be a non-profit.
Yeah, okay. No ads. Really, yeah. Right. Do you guys both personally do construction type things, by the way?
Yeah, indeed. Not as much as I would like to, but yes, we are doing. I like to do some DIY stuff at home to fix stuff and stuff like that. Yeah.
You mentioned the maker movement or Fab Labs or all that stuff. Which is, you say, it is growing. Of course, it used to be that everyone created their own things pretty much. So I guess it's all relative. But I'm interested in it because there's a lot of us, myself included, who basically spend their whole career just sitting at a computer, more or less, and not really making anything tangible, except maybe cooking, if that counts. What do you think are the advantages of making real things yourself?
It's really, as you said, I mean, it's also because that's the same reason as you why I like doing stuff myself. It's because I've spent all my days in front of a computer, so I like to do stuff with my hands, and I find it very how to say gratifiant, we say.
Yeah, gratifying, rewarding. Yeah,
rewarding, exactly. Yeah, and It's just because of that. I think it's most you feel really happy when you accomplish something, and yeah, that's the main reason, I guess. And also with this maker movement and the Fab Labs movement, especially, you share and you do with others, and that's also something that is very important. With this movement, is not like, thanks to internet and everything, you can learn from others thanks to YouTube, right, or Wikifab, and you can also ask questions and get feedbacks. And if you go to a makerspace, you can probably work with someone else. So that's also something very very nice to do. Yeah,
that's really neat. So onto Wikifab, I'm very impressed, I have to say, with both the setup and the content of Wikifab. From what I've seen of it. Let's talk about the content first. How many tutorials do you have on the site?
Well, I think there is, so since we have a model of, so all the platform has been released open source, so there are Fab Labs that makes tutorials.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll get into that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, maybe I go further. But right now, on Wikifab, there are something like 300, I think, from 300 to 400 tutorials that are completed, because there are people who start a tutorial but they don't complete it. So it's unfinished yet, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. It looks like people can make tutorials in 6 different languages. What's the breakdown in terms of languages? Do you know?
What do you mean breakdown?
I mean, are most of them in one language, or?
Most of them
distribution.
It depends on the community. As I also want to say, like, since Wikifab is open source, people have started their own Wikifab instance, and some community are very active, even more than we are at Wikifab.
Okay.
And they have tutorials even translated in Arabic or some other languages.
So there are Wikifab clones that are bigger than Wikifab?
There are, yeah. There is one called Low-Tech Lab.
Yeah.
Which is, we maybe have less tutorial than we have on Wikifab, but more complex, and they go into deep, they deeply document what they are doing. So it's very detailed, and they test everything that is hosted on their platform. Well, at Wikifab, we can't do and test everything that is hosted there, so we just trust the community.
Yeah. What's the URL? What's the URL for that?
Is it
Low-Tech
Lab. So it's wiki.lowtechlab.org.
Low-Tech, like LOWTECH.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
You find it?
Let's see. It's loading. Yes, I do see it. Oh, it looks like Wikifab, but it's got different languages and stuff. Oh, cool. Wow. Okay. Wow, desert fridge. That looks useful. Yeah. So back to Wikifab, or I guess you can answer this for any wiki. What's the usage? I mean, how many people are editing the site? How many readers? Do you have any sense?
I haven't checked it recently, but at the best moment we had 80,000 visitors per month.
Wow.
That was best month, I think. But now we are more like maybe 30 or 40,000 visitors per month.
All right, still pretty good.
Yeah, it's still not bad. And number of editors, it's really depend. It's not that much actually, not as much as we expect. But since we have lots of there are maybe I don't know 50 clones of Wikifab already, of Fab Labs using it. Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
40 or 50 already using it. So
wow, okay.
So some people are just using it maybe very intensively, but we don't even know it.
Yeah, right.
So on the Low-Tech Lab is a very interesting platform, because they have a big community, and the tutorials they make are low-tech tutorials. So
right.
It's low-tech is by opposition to high-tech. It's a solution that is easy to make, replicable, that can be done. It can be made everywhere in the world to to fix a human issue. I would say
Sure.
that to fix a problem that we have in terms of access to water, access to food, access to energy. So they will create the technology to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds really useful. So looking through the tutorials just on Wikifab, I'm amazed by the range of topics. I mean, you pointed out that there's regular stuff and, pretty high tech stuff. I mean, there's everything from simple wooden stools to I saw one tutorial for a jacket for bicyclists with LED arrows on the back to let people behind you know when you're turning, which sounds pretty useful. This might be a difficult question, but are there any tutorials on Wikifab or any of the other sites that really stand out to you in terms of how cool they are or how popular they've been?
They are. The one you just mentioned is pretty useful and funny, I think, to do. But let me check. I think there is a caravan sauna also, which used to be quite popular. So it's someone who took a caravan and who changed it into a sauna.
Oh, okay. Like a van.
Like a van, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
A sauna ravan, call it. And there is also this machine that you can create with children to monitor the level of sounds of decibel in a class.
Okay.
So it's a little machine with a microphone and a raspberry. So if the sound is higher to a certain amount of decibel, then a light gets red, and every children needs to be more quiet.
Okay. That's pretty neat. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. So there are a couple funny tutorial. There are also solar oven. They have some architectural stuff also. There is a computer made with recycled materials. So it's in every field you can find a tutorial.
Cool. I want to talk about the look of Wikifab, which is also the look of Dokit, which we'll get to. But it doesn't look like MediaWiki, but it's kind of a cliche at this point to point out that wikis with responsive skins don't look like MediaWiki or Wikipedia. But Wikifab really doesn't look like Wikipedia or MediaWiki. It has a lot of little touches that make it look different, like drop shadows on hover, just a lot of little things like that. And it also has a navigation filtering setup that's pretty unique. Do you have any specific inspirations as far as interface design?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Actually, when it comes to browsing pages on a wiki, it could be quite difficult to browse or to search a page on a wiki when you are not familiar with wikis.
Sure.
We took this idea at the beginning. We thought, okay, we know how Wikipedia works because we use Wikipedia every day, but our people maybe they're not that familiar with Wikipedia, or they just use it to find a definition of something, but they don't really know how Wiki works. And it could be quite disturbing for a user to have all of those links of editing, discussion, history. It could be. We thought that for our users who were not wiki editors, it could be a bit confusing. So we had a look at some collaborative platform, and we looked at the position of the buttons, the labels of the buttons, the wording they used, and one of the platform we took inspiration of was Behance. It's you probably know that it's a platform for designers who shares project.
The name, yeah, okay.
Behance,
okay.
B-E-H.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I feel like I've seen it. Yeah, okay, but you're not saying one of the designs on there. You're saying the actual site itself.
Yeah, the site itself, exactly.
Yeah.
we thought it was easy to browse the content with lots of filters, and but now the website has changed since. But if you go to Discover or Explore.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It certainly is a resemblance.
So we had the idea of having cards, for each pages.
Right.
And so we thought we needed something quite visual, since we are dealing with tutorials and images. It was easy for us to have images, so we thought we could use those images, the one who are put it on the page, to browse the content.
Yeah.
So
sure. It makes sense. And it certainly works well when there's one kind of content type on the site, I guess, or one main one, in your case, tutorials.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, all the pages are quite. We have also took the choice to have tutorials, but right now we are integrating more templates, such as manuals and to call it. Rex, we call it a return of experience. So it's another template for company who wants to share their good practices.
Like reviews or something, like I tried this tutorial and here's that kind of thing?
No, it's more like in a company we have good practices. So when a department wants to share a good practice with another department, so it will create a page on the wiki using a dedicated template.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, best practices kind of thing.
Yeah.
So how will that work with your, nice simple browsing interface? If you want people to be able to access to, easily view more than one data type.
So we have integrated the semantic MediaWiki to let the user insert some semantic properties into each page. And then we have developed this Explorer who allows the user to select for each property certain values, and then it will filter the content. So it's a kind of semantic search interface.
Oh, okay, but that's not on every page.
That's on the Explore page, and then every page we have a template. So we thought also that for the contributors, since they were not wiki familiar users, we thought it was easier for them to have templates and forms. So we have installed PageForm and Semantic MediaWiki, so it allows our user to simply select the properties and fill in a text field or a text area. So it was easier for them not to think about the design of the page or the layout of the page they are creating. We just want them to concentrate on the content.
Well, sure, yeah. We'll get to the page. Actually, I'm not sure if we'll get to page forms later. So, you guys make great use of page forms with a lot of your own customizations. I like how there's it is very very simply laid out. Each step gets one image to go with it. I don't know.
Actually, I can also complete with that. When we have created when we had this idea of creating a platform for this community, we thought a wiki would be a good solution because it was collaborative. It was and we wanted to follow the Wikimedia principles, like to be an open source platform with no advertising, run by a non-profit organization. That was our main rules. And then we thought, MediaWiki would be fantastic for that, especially since there is already lots of extensions that allows us to start an MVP in less than 2 weeks or so. So with just very few development, with just the bootstrap skin and page form, and Semantic MediaWiki, of course, we were able to just have an MVP with almost no line of code, just a few CSS and HTML, and people could already start doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it was very powerful for us to launch a first product and get feedbacks from our users and all.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, well, obviously you guys have made a lot of changes and additions to the software since then. Actually, that's a good way of getting into the next thing I want to ask about. So you and Pierre and I, plus two other people, are actually all the co-authors of an extension called VEForAll, which is short for Visual Editor for All. Which is a very important extension, I think, that lets any other extension make use of MediaWiki's visual editor in the text areas of any form it defines. Right now it's used by two extensions, page forms and comment streams, and I think you guys also use comment streams at this point.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Yeah. I personally didn't add that much to VEForAll, although I did come up with the name, so that counts for something. But most of the code comes from an extension that you guys created called VEForPageForm, which is intended for use specifically by page forms. Am I correct in assuming that Pierre did most of the work on that?
Of course, yeah. Pierre did 99% of the code of VEForPageForm.
Yeah.
And the story behind it is pretty funny because I think it was like 2 weeks after we launched Wikifab, I told Pierre, so we knew no one from the community. Right. We were like a little electron, working on a MediaWiki website, and no one knew us, and we knew nobody.
Yeah.
So Pierre, we started to do this website with Pierre, and I told Pierre, why couldn't we have like WYSIWYG stuff on our text area field? And he said, because it's not in page form, we can't do that. And I said, but
right.
It's very strange. There is VE on page. Right. There is VE on Wikipedia. Why can't you have it on this? And he said, it's a bit. He said, I don't know. It might be a bit complicated and all. And I said, look what they have done with Flow. And there are this little text area field on Flow. And Pierre looked into it and said, yeah, it's nice. It's interesting. It's made a little bit differently. Maybe we can extend it to put it on page form. And I think I don't know exactly because I'm not a developer, but I think he looked at the code of how the VE field were integrated into Flow, and then he said maybe I should do the same, or he were able to do the same for page form. And after maybe 2 weeks of development, or one or 2 weeks, I don't remember exactly, we had our first version, and we could do it on page form. And then the funny thing is, like, we released it and we found out that lots of people were interested into it.
Oh, okay.
And it was pretty funny because we didn't use those people, and thanks to this extension, we knew lots of people. So it was a good entrance for us.
Oh, that's interesting. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to be your friend or something. Yeah. I was wondering about that. How long it took? Because people had been asking me about getting Visual Editor for page forms for a long time, since 2013 or something, when Visual Editor first really was launched, and I kept saying, I don't think it's possible. But then Pierre did it in 2 weeks, so that's pretty cool. There's actually still a task in Fabricator, the standard MediaWiki bug reporting tool called I looked it up, support editing parts of a page in Visual Editor. It's still open and actually has epic status because it's considered hard to do. I don't know all the details of that task. Maybe they're trying to do something more than what we've done, what you guys have done with page forms, but it's still, I thought that was interesting. So you also have some other extensions, customizations. There's a bit that lets you annotate images, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. We have recently actually developed an extension to annotate images. So It allows the user to add arrows and circles and square and lines on an image. And this is integrated into PageForm and into Visual Editor. So in PageForms, it's actually, you need to define two property, one for the image, one for the annotation. And then you have a button on the image that appears to annotate. It opens the image in a model. You add your design, you save, and all of the information regarding the design is stored into the property on the page itself directly.
Yeah, so that's released already?
It's released, yeah. It's on GitHub. It's not documented yet, but it's released, and we need to improve. And we will improve the documentation of all of this in the near future.
What's it called?
It's called annotation. Let me check. It's on GitHub. It's Wikifab MediaWiki extension ImageAnnotator.
ImageAnnotator. Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a page on MediaWiki.org yet.
No.
I think. Okay.
Unfortunately, no. No, not yet.
Yeah, okay. So we've talked about Wikifab and its clones or sisters, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about Dokit, your company. My understanding is the basic idea is that you similar to all these clones, you package up all the software behind Wikifab so that companies can have their own tutorial wikis?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Since Wikifab was a non-profit project, we thought like maybe we need to pay the bill at some point. So we thought that we needed to create a company to make money actually. So we've created Dokit and we took the software of Wikifab to do.
So do you host Dokit or do companies install it themselves?
We host. We mostly host.
Yeah.
Like maybe, but for some reason, some of our cloud customer wants to store some critical data, and so for security reasons, they want to host the wiki on their own servers. Because since our platform is used to create technical documentation, those documentation can be sensible. And then, when you work with big companies, they want to host it.
Yeah, I think that's a false translation there, and I think the word you're looking for is sensitive.
Yeah, what did I say?
Sensible, which is the
sensitive. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Although I hope it's sensible also. So what kind of companies and organizations are running Dokit?
Mostly manufacturers. Since actually the product is used to create step-by-step instructions and manuals and product manuals, so people who create products need to create their documentation, and if they want to use it to create the documentation using tutorials, then Dokit is the right platform for that. So most of our clients are manufacturers. We work with medium size, big size, every size of company, basically.
What's I don't know if there's a typical tutorial, but what I guess is a typical tutorial that a company might have on their site?
So we are, I can give you a few examples. We work with a subsidiary of Michelin, the tire company, who have a subsidiary who create 3D printing machines, like big machines to print in metal, not in plastic, in metal. And so all of the documentation of the machine is done on Dokit. So you have step-by-step tutorial to start the machine, maintain the machine, change a filter on the machine or whatever. All of the operations that you can do with this machine has been documented on the platform. We also have like portal company, so they create portals for your garden. I don't know if it's like barrier.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know how you call it.
Yeah, fences, I guess.
Fences, yeah. And they are sold. Those fences are sold on the do-it-yourself retail store like Home Depot, and so it's sold to the end customers. And when you buy these fences, you get the documentation on Dokit.
Oh wow. Okay.
So when you receive your Francis box, and there is a little QR code that you can scan, and then it opens the Dokit platform on your mobile, and you can swipe every instruction using our platform.
Wow. Okay. This is really mission critical stuff. I mean, this isn't some small internal thing. This is it has to be up.
Yeah, exactly. And we have also and every lots of kind of different company and project. We also have a non-profit organization. We have a non-profit organization who create tutorials for children who wants to test some little science experience that you can learn on Wikifab.
Cool. I also wanted to ask. I saw something interesting on the Dokit site. There's it also provides a mobile app for viewing all the contents of the site. I think there's both an iPhone and an Android app.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a standard part of the Dokit solution offering?
It's an option that the customer can buy, and it's an app which is developed in a web app technology called Ionic and Angular. So Ionic is a framework, and Angular is a front. And it asks MediaWiki and Semantic MediaWiki APIs to query the content.
Yeah.
It's just a reading app to read the content of the wiki.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And I assume it's read only.
It's read only, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that people have asked about quite a bit over the years. Is is there an easy way to make an app for my data? So it's cool that you guys have created that. Did you use there's this thing called PhoneGap, which is popular. Did you use that? Do you know?
No, I know PhoneGap, but no, we didn't. We use Angular and Ionic.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Ionic is the equivalent of PhoneGap.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
Ionic is it's pretty popular at the moment, and it helps you to have a web app for Android and iOS.
Yeah, I guess I feel compelled to ask, even though I'm not sure what the right answer is, but is there any chance that you'll release that whole setup as open source?
I don't know. I think we haven't thought about it yet.
Yeah.
So we need to see if it could be released, or I think I'd like to, but it's currently might be a bit too specific to our needs, because we have so some of the APIs we use are also APIs that we have created.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For example, we query avatar of the users, and the avatars we get it from the social profile extension. So it's an API that we have created. So I don't know if this platform could work. This extension could work on a regular MediaWiki, and all of the change that would have had to be done to work properly.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. With quite a bit of effort.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, we develop lots of things, and if sometimes it feels a bit frustrating not to release them open source straight away, but if we do it and if it's not well documented, then no one will use it. So I prefer to take time, because we have since a lot already, as you said already, ImageAnnotator, and we have also VEForPageForm, VEForAll that also probably need to be more documented or to be integrated to some other extension and all. So yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think VEForAll is in good shape. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's the best documented we have. But yeah.
Yeah. No. Sure. Yeah. So moving on. Sort of. I always ask people about marketing, because it's a very interesting topic to me, and I think it's so important. So as far as Dokit, how do people find out about Dokit?
So yes, I agree with you. Marketing is very important, especially when you work with companies and when you want to sell a SaaS software, you need to. And right now, company who provide a SaaS solution really invest a lot in marketing. So you can't have a product that is not well marketed. So how they find us? So basically, we we have like I think a beautiful website. We worked quite hard to make it beautiful and easy to understand. Because once again, a wiki is so powerful and there are so much features that it's hard to explain with just a few words to a non-wiki familiar users. So
Sure.
that was also one of the issue we face when we've created Dokit. We thought, okay, we have created this form to create step-by-step instruction, but it could do more. We could have created like 10, 20, 30 different templates. But what's the point if those templates are not understood, or if the platform is not understood by the client? So we thought that we should keep it simple. So we had our website, we keep it simple, we wanted to make it nice with clean design and a few features, not 1,000, just a few features well explained. And so that's the first thing. And then we needed to attract people on our website. So most of our budget is on the SEO. So we just want to be well referenced. We still do a little bit of SEM. So Google AdWords. We buy some advertising on Google on some specific keywords. But yeah, actually the best way is to let people find us when they need us, rather than trying to contact them on a pushy manner. You know, we prefer when people need a platform to create instructions, they go online, they say platform to create instruction, and then they go on Google and they find us, and then they are willing to pay and to subscribe.
So you've never gone to a trade show or that kind of thing?
We've done a few. We've done a few. To call it exhibitions.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's still, you explain your product, but if they don't have the project now, then they say, okay, it's interesting, give me your card and get back to me, but then nothing happened. Or maybe you just plant a little seed and maybe in 6 months or 1 year it will grow, but most of the time it doesn't.
Right, yeah.
So it's lots of time consuming and energy for a few results. Rather than being well referenced, it's just the best return on investment.
Yeah. Sure. The best time is when people are looking for a solution. You said something before that was interesting. Most of your budget is spent on SEO?
I mean, most of our effort, I would have said.
Okay.
Because indeed, I think we had paid an agency to help us to give us some advice or some audit.
Yeah.
We use SEMrush. You probably know SEMrush.
No.
It's a good platform to tell you where you are on your SEO. So you just put your website and they give you the list of your competitor, and you put the keywords you want to be well referenced, and they give you some advice. They say, okay, on this page you haven't mentioned these keywords where you should. So it's some kind of it's supposed to help you understand how Google works. But it's not perfect. Sometimes the tips they give you are not really effective, but efficient, but still you can.
Yeah, okay. I should look into that. There's you talked about, keeping it simple, as simple as possible for potential customers. There's a split among companies that have MediaWiki-based products. Some really play up the MediaWiki part and some don't. You guys barely mentioned MediaWiki or wikis in general on the Dokit website, as far as I can tell. I don't think there's anything bad about not mentioning MediaWiki. Whatever works the best is what you should do. But do you think it's been the right decision for Dokit?
Right now, it's deliberate. We've tried to not mention Wiki too often on our website. It's deliberately because we think it doesn't it could give more confusion to our customers who visit the website. But if he wants to understand how it works, if he goes to every pages, he will see that it's a wiki. However, is it a good solution or not? Still, I don't know. We're still young. Maybe we could start some other strategy. I know that we used to be well referenced on Enterprise MediaWiki on Google.
Oh, really? When people looked for the words Enterprise MediaWiki, you were high in the
We are high,
results?
but not so many people are typing this, I think.
Well, yeah, right.
We used to be high, but still we are only maybe on page 2 now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we are on page 2. I mean, on my website, on my computer at least. So but this, man, if people is looking for a wiki and they find Dokit, maybe that's not also what they are looking for. So it doesn't make sense for us to be there. Or otherwise we need to change all of the product to make it more wiki. How to say more like like a wiki, but it's not.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, you guys have a specific product or product that you guys provide as opposed to well, my company WikiWorks is just a MediaWiki consulting company. It's a very different kind of approach.
Yeah, because the typical use case is you are a manufacturer and you want to create a user manual for your product. What do you type? You're on Google. You type user manual platform or user manual step-by-step instruction, but you don't type wiki.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense, for us to just put wiki everywhere on a website. I mean, it's not relevant.
Yeah. So what happens when somebody contacts you and finds out it's a wiki? Does that ever turn people off?
No, never, no. No,
Okay.
It's more like usually they said, "Oh, it's a wiki. It's interesting." When they know what it is, they say, "Oh, it's a wiki, so it's more powerful than what you propose." And we say, "Yeah, it's more. You can do more than what we propose. We can create bespoke template for you if you want, and then it's even better."
Yeah, that's beautiful. I've mentioned it quite a few times on different episodes of this podcast, but there's a software marketing book called Crossing the Chasm, which I really recommend to anyone, but it makes that same point that you should undersell the software to avoid confusing people, that avoiding confusion or avoiding overloading people is the number one goal.
Yeah, I think it's too powerful because when you are in the technical you see it, but when you are like a customer you just want an efficient product. You don't want to know everything it can do.
Yeah. So do you ever upsell the software? Like somebody has installed or gotten a Dokit instance and then they realize, oh, we have this wiki now and we can put other stuff and we can create forms and that sort of thing. Does that ever happen that people want to extend the wiki for other types of data?
Like they already have a wiki and they want to put Dokit on it, or they have Dokit and they want to...
No, they already have this Dokit installation and it has forms and everything else, so they could, put employee information on it or anything else.
Yes, it happened, yeah. So that's what we try to do, actually. We try to upsell them if we find that they have a use case or a needs. Then we said, okay, the wiki can do that, and we try to do it.
And then you help you do get into the MediaWiki consulting business at that point?
Yes, of course. Yeah. We'll sell like a consulting fee for that, and we will do all the setup of the forms because we don't want them to touch the forms and the templates.
I see.
Basically, when we do an installation after of one platform, there is a script that will create all the pages, the pre-existing pages of Dokit, so all of the properties, the templates, and the forms. And then we have another script that will lock them.
Oh, okay.
Automatically. So they can't touch it and they can't just break it.
Right. Yeah, so then at that point, if for any new data structures, you would be the people adding that in.
Yeah. So yeah, we can do that, and we try to. If we make a modification into a form, we will document it to make sure the next version, the next update won't erase it.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. So you guys have done a bunch of customizations to existing software, including to page forms. Have you customized MediaWiki itself?
No.
Core MediaWiki?
No.
Okay, no. You haven't modified that.
No, we don't want to touch MediaWiki. No.
Yeah. Okay.
For now.
Well, I hope it'll stay that way. But we actually spent a very productive day at SMWCon. You, Pierre, and I getting some of your local changes into page forms into the main page forms code base, so that you guys can hopefully switch to the latest version. And obviously the big downside to making your own changes is that it then becomes tricky to update the software when new versions come out. And by the way, I'm really looking forward to people using the new features that we added. I think some of those are really cool. Those
Did you get feedback already from that?
No, I mean, they're undocumented. So the new features per se, I think nobody knows about. There's the new look to multiple instance templates. I haven't heard any feedback yet about that, but I bet people will like it. But I'm wondering in general, how well have you guys been managing dealing with your local patches to the software and having to upgrade software, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's one of the main issue we have. So, as I said, we never touched MediaWiki core, and for some extension, we needed to do some modification. For example, a social profile. We had a big use of it, and we did some modification, and we just simply fork. So at some point, we thought that it was easier to just fork it rather than maintain it or whatever. But for page form, for example, we also forked, but it was not a good idea. So now we just roll back. Thanks to you, we have integrated everything, and you agreed to took our stuff, or you've created hooks to where we need it. But it's not really easy to talk to every developers. And also, I must say that sometimes Pierre doesn't have time, or doesn't want to take the time, I don't know, he should answer that, to contact the developer and to ask him, okay, I have done this, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like it? So I think sometimes, it's just, I'm not the developers, but I see that sometimes we lose so much time, and sometimes it's really sad that we could not benefit from a new version from an extension, just because we have forked it just to put one pictogram wherever.
Oh, okay, right.
So the thing is, we try not to fork. We have forked, for example, comment stream, and to put lots of new stuff, but we need to. We talked to Cindy before, and because she is one of the developer, and
right, I think she's the main author of comment streams.
Yeah, and we talk about our change, and say, your changes make sense. Just do it and send me the code, and I will integrate it. And we'll integrate them, but we haven't the time to integrate them, and so it's very complicated. We haven't the time, but also because we are using some skin. We are using Bootstrap, and we are using, for example, icon library called Font Awesome, and we are using some Font Awesome icon into our version of command stream. So if we commit our change of command stream, then they will have some Font Awesome icon into the code, which is useless for a user who doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So we need to clean all of this, and it's a bit. It could come a mess very quickly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you used Font Awesome for the page forms stuff too, but I remember you managed to just got it out and turned into standalone SVG files or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you made custom changes to Visual Editor? That's the real
I think we have done, but on a separate extension.
Oh, okay, great.
So that's when we try to do, then we can do it. Yeah.
Right.
We always ask ourselves, okay, is it a major extension? Can we fork it? What's the risk if we fork it?
Right.
And also we try not to fork, but sometimes it's difficult. For VE we haven't changed it. We just use some separate extension when we want to integrate our code into it.
Yeah, great. So speaking of challenges and taking time and stuff, what have been the biggest challenges, software-wise or in general? I mean, what's taken the most time in all this process? Or is it a little of everything?
Let me think about this question.
Dealing with hard questions. That's the biggest.
No, I know. We recently, like 3 months ago, we've created a Wikifab where we put all our clients on the same infrastructure. So we have one hosting. We have a few servers, but we have one hosting platform with a deployment process using some Ansible script and everything. And this farm allows us to have new updates. And when we make a change on the Dokit core, then we can deploy it to every instance in just a click. So we have I find it really nice and useful, very powerful tool to manage all of our instances of all our clients on the same place, except the ones that are hosted on the server of our clients. But for those that we host, all of the SaaS clients that we have this, and now it's very great. But getting to there, it took lots of effort and energy. Not to develop the system, but to migrate the old instances to the new architecture.
Okay.
Because we used to have for each client a dedicated configuration with a dedicated local settings with some dedicated extension, and for other clients dedicated different configuration, and a third client different configuration. 95% the same, but a few 5% different. So migrating, moving all of those clients from the old way we used to deal with them to the new farm was a big challenge. It took us lots of time, and it was very time consuming for really little value. But right now, we have a really, really good infrastructure.
Right. Yeah. For long-term benefit.
For long-term benefit, exactly.
Yeah, I remember you guys gave a talk a very interesting talk at SMWCon where you showed the dashboard interface that you had created for handling, I think, permissions on the wiki.
Yes.
We'll ask this question sometimes. What do you think about MediaWiki as software? What are there any features that you wish it had? I mean, what do you see? I guess what do you see is the biggest weaknesses of MediaWiki?
Well, in terms of technical, I can't really tell since I'm not a back developer. But in terms of features, functionality, I must say access control.
Yeah, okay.
The famous
popular answer.
The famous access control would be. I mean, in a business environment, in a business context, it's just it's a must-have. And for me, MediaWiki would have took lots of shares to market shares. I mean, to Confluence. if
Yeah.
it adds this feature. Because as you know, Confluence, I don't know how old is Confluence, but it's less than 5 years or maybe 6, 7 maximum, I think. But
No, Confluent.
maybe more.
Yeah, it's been around a lot longer than that.
But not more
15 years or something.
than MediaWiki, is it?
No, but it's okay. I gotta look this up. I really should know this. Well, keep going while I look that up.
Well, yeah, what doesn't matter actually the age of it, because even if it was there at the same time as MediaWiki, currently...
Yeah, it came out in 2004, maybe a year after MediaWiki or something.
Okay, my mistake.
But it was obviously always intended for use on within companies and stuff. Not
well,
for
MediaWiki was used by Wikipedia, so yeah, we can't rewrite the history, but still, Confluence is not open source, Confluence is expensive, and Confluence is doing exactly the same thing as MediaWiki.
Right.
But they have access control. and that's why the companies are using it. And there is also, of course, there is Jira and all, but there are lots of developers that develop extension on the Confluence marketplace, and they make very good business of it. And this doesn't exist on MediaWiki because everything is open source. Most of it is free, and yeah, I think the foundation have never supported this, right? They always supported the Wikipedia and non-profit project, which is great and all, but maybe having this access control, which is of course a big feature. I don't deny this, but if this little effort was made on the core, it would have helped us and would have creating a much bigger community. And in general, the sustainability of core of MediaWiki core would have been even bigger and greater since it was used by more. It would have been used by lots of company who have budget to pay for that. So. I mean, yeah, for me, it's the biggest thing that missed in MediaWiki.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how easy it would be to add. Well, I'm thinking specifically about semantic MediaWiki. There's also Cargo, which would have the same issue, where there's no, it would add quite a bit of a challenge, I think, to make sure that people don't see data from pages that they're not allowed to see.
Mm. Yes, indeed. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Of course, it's a big one. It's a big thing, but yeah, still, it would have been great.
Yeah.
But then, right now, what we do is like we tell company that they don't need it.
Right.
And then they trust us, and they go with that, or we start 2 instances if it's needed. But but at the selling process, if we could say, yeah, there is access control, don't worry, that will work. But yeah, what we have now, it's Lockdown. So Lockdown is working again now, and
okay.
And we are using it, and it's not completely waterproof, but it's good enough for us to sell. So
yeah, okay, that's the Lockdown extension, which controls access via namespace, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, you can control the access per namespace, and So yeah.
So what, you have a special secure namespace or something that only managers can see, or that kind of thing?
Yeah, only one of our clients is using it. So right now we have a very simple configuration. We have created a namespace called private, and there is 2 type of users. One is admin, and one is like a regular user. And if you are in the admin, you can access to the private namespace, and that's it.
Yeah. So that's interesting that it seems like you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you're saying controlling read access, the biggest thing is just to have it so you can check off that box, because people think they need it, but they don't actually need it as much as they think they do. But just to be able to say it and to say that it exists so that you don't have to deal with those questions I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, we only have one client who needed it, and their data are not really sensitive.
Right.
Am I using the right word?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
They are not. The data are not really sensitive, so it's fine for them. Yeah. But if it was really sensitive data, probably it wouldn't be it would not have been enough. But I think
if it was a recent what?
If it was really sensitive data.
Oh, really sensitive. Okay.
It probably haven't been enough. But since for these clients, it's fine just to have this checkbox, and it's fine.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? I think.
No, I think
that's all my questions.
No, I think I think it's fine. I think I have said everything I wanted to say.
Cool. Yeah, we covered a lot of ground. Wikifab, Dokit. You guys are really doing cool things, and I encourage anyone to check out the look and feel that you guys have created. It's very intuitive, and I think it's something a lot of people could benefit from trying to imitate or be inspired by, at least in one way or another.
Thank you.
Great. Well, it was great talking to you, Clément, as always. Thanks for coming on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Yaron. Thank you for inviting me. And it was my first podcast, so I'm very excited.
That's great.
Thank you for that, and thank you for all the work you've done also with PageForm, I must say. Again, so thank you for that, because as I said earlier, thanks to PageForm, we were able to launch our MVP in 2 weeks. So I think I don't know if there are other technologies that would allow us to do so. And we didn't know anything about MediaWiki, wikis, and PageForm syntax. So when we started from nothing, after 2 weeks we had an MVP, which is still running today. lots of stuff that we were there was still running today. So
cool, that's great to hear. All right.
All right. Later. Then see you, Yaron. Bye-bye.
Bye. And this has been another episode of Between the Brackets. I want to again thank my guest, Clément Flipo of Wikifab and Dokit. Thanks to all of you for listening. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time.